There's a lot of Mexican ranches in Michoacan, and luckily, some of them have been converted to be tourist-friendly. I've heard some of them even have accommodation, so I decided to investigate.
Part of what we want to do here is help you find other places to stay other than downtown Pátzcuaro, just in case the hustle and bustle is a little bit too much for you. Now up on the hill, just outside of downtown Pátzcuaro, you can find Rancho La Mesa. They have beautiful rooms here, there's 6 of them, so it's a little bit more intimate. Plus they have a restaurant and a mezcal distillery. But you still get all of the scenery, and in the background you can see the island of Genitzia, which is the most important island, the mecca, if you will, of the Day of the Dead celebrations. Now, look into it because this celebration is like no other. It's like Halloween and Mardi Gras all rolled into one. But unless you have a reservation for Genitzia, forget about it. It's about a year in advance booking.
Taking a tour around the ranch and checking it out, it kind of made me wish we had an extra day or two to stay here. The rooms are really cool and spacious, and hey, they have horses. It seems like it would be an amazing place to come and escape from it all. Perhaps even stay and write that novel or screenplay you've always had it in you to write. But perhaps another time, since now we are off to Tzitzuntzan.
Along the way during the 15-minute drive from Pátzcuaro to Tzitzuntzan, we've just passed some ancient ruins from the Purépecha Indian civilization that was here in this area from about 600 to 1200 AD. We've arrived here in Tzitzuntzan, and for those of you that are impressed by architecture, many of the buildings here were actually built in the 1500s. For instance, the one behind me, 1522 it was built. That's amazing.
Being surrounded by all these historic buildings really does put you in a state of awe. For instance, this facade. It's what's left of a nearly 500-year-old building constructed out of adobe. I've got to admit, I've never really thought much about adobe, probably because there's not much of it around where I'm from. But being in front of it is another story. When you see the 500-year-old straw sticking out of the handmade mud bricks, you can't help but think of the people who made it and how hardworking and patient they must have been. And the interiors, so simple, yet beautiful and timeless. This little town really was worth the short drive, seeing that the buildings still to this day are important and central to the lives of the people here. It really is inspirational.
But my personal favorite of this location is definitely what you see behind me. Great big huge olive trees. They were actually planted in 1530, just after they started construction here. That means they're almost 500-year-old olive trees.
If you have the time and are in Pátzcuaro, it really is worth the short drive to Tzitzuntzan.